A viewer question came in asking if you can shoot a bad guy who is in your house if you're outside your house. We'll talk to noted criminal defense attorney Tom Grieve about that, but first, we have a super secret giveaway going on right now, but it ends really soon. If you want to enter for your chance to win this long distance hole puncher absolutely free, click the link in the description down below. Tom, let me set the stage for you here. You are out shopping and you come home, drive into your driveway, and you see through the window there is someone ransacking your house and you notice they have a gun. Our viewer wants to know, can I shoot this person and then claim castle doctrine as a defense because this person was inside my house?
Wow, a lot going on there. Okay, well, let's kind of build this from the ground up. So in order to use deadly force, you have to be in reasonable fear of imminent death or great bodily harm. What castle doctrine does is it creates a legal presumption that if somebody has broken into your dwelling, okay, that or is in the process of breaking into, that you are now presumed to be in reasonable fear of imminent death or great bodily harm. Keep in mind that P word always has an R word, rebuttable. Prosecutor can always introduce evidence to counteract that. So in other words, you might just be back to a straight up self-defense situation.
Yep.
Okay. Big check your local listings here, all right? Because your state may have castle doctrine, but it may explicitly say, and you need to be inside the home at the time.
Yeah, if the dwelling is occupied, if you are inside, or the car or wherever you're at.
Right. So that's going to be a big thing because generally speaking, the way self-defense laws work when we're talking about deadly force is it's people defense, not stuff defense. So if you use deadly force from your front yard and only the bad guy's inside and there's no one else inside, right? Yep. And I'm sure we'll twist that up in a moment. Then it's going to be a situation where you're using deadly force to protect stuff, okay? Right. And the argument from the prosecutor is cookie cutter and basic. They could have just fallen back across the street and called 911.
Yes, which is what I would suggest that you do if you come home and you see someone in your house.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's no reason for you to risk life or limb going in there to protect your, I was going to say big screen TV, but that's really dating myself because who really steals TVs anymore, right? But at any rate, though.
Your DVD player.
your DVD player, your VCR DVD player. So, I mean, that's the simple answer as far as what I would do. But the question is, what would happen if I did use deadly force? Can I claim castle doctrine? So, step one, assuming no one else is in your home, then does your state have some sort of statutory poison pill or prohibition that says castle doctrine only applies if you're also inside your home or if someone else is in your home that you're defending? Because if there is some sort of language in there, whether in the statutory black letter law or in the case law, then it's not castle doctrine. And now you're just basically, a prosecutor argue, using deadly force to protect property, which is probably going to land you in hot water.
Yes.
Right? So now let's change it. So what happens if there's someone else inside? Okay, so once more back to statutory construction, looking at the laws to see whether or not castle doctrine requires the actor. In other words, you, the active defender with the firearm, do you need to be inside the home too? Okay. If the answer is yes, you need to be inside the home, then it's not castle doctrine. We're also not protecting ourselves from the lawn unless that person's leering through the windows and lining up to take a shot, right? Yeah. So now we're really just using defense of third person. That's the status of our fact pattern.
If you reasonably believe that your daughter is hiding in the bedroom and this person is ransacking the house, then you're looking at defense of third person. You're not looking at a castle doctrine defense, and you may be justified in using deadly force in that case. But again, I think that's going to be a legal debate.
It will absolutely be a legal debate. Generally these laws, when the legislature constructs them, when they write castle doctrine laws, when they write whatever it is laws that they do, it's pretty typical that they do not anticipate every single possible fact pattern spin. So odds are good that if you check your state's castle doctrine law, if you're fortunate enough to live in a state with castle doctrine, that it will not speak directly to this scenario, which means the next thing you need to do is then read the footnotes, engage in a thorough case law, odyssey, quest, journey. Any of those words will work. as you're trying to find the answer to that question. And odds are pretty good that there may not be a strict answer to that question, or if there is a seemingly on point answer, it could be slightly off point for other reasons. So, maybe there is a situation where somebody did use deadly force in their front yard, but that's because they started in their garage or inside the home and they ran outside the home, or maybe the bad guy raised their firearm first to shoot or something like that. So you got to be really, really careful, because small one sentence changes to the fact pattern can change everything about the conclusion. Hence why lawyers are always saying, well, it depends. We really need to clarify this fact pattern. But I mean, look, in general, I would be really reluctant to say that this will likely fall under a Castle Doctrine analysis. This will probably fall under in many jurisdictions, not all, I'm sure in some cases it will, okay? But in many jurisdictions, probably most jurisdictions, is you're gonna fall under defense of self or defense of third person.
And that's exactly why we need attorneys when we are using our gun to defend ourselves, because this is a complex situation from any angle, any way that you look at it. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they raise their hands and say, Castle Doctrine, I'm safe. And that's not it. You're not. There are still rules. And you're absolutely right. One sentence, one fact can change whether or not you are allowed to utilize deadly force, whether you can start shooting or shoot the bad guy.
And keep in mind as well, just to, let's just keep like muddying the waters here, right? Just because that guy, the bad guy inside your home, let's say they do point the gun at you through the window, like they see you, you're walking up, you're kind of standing there piecing together the situation, right? You shoot that guy or you shoot at that guy. Do you really think they're going to say, yeah, then I pointed the gun at him, right? I mean, no, they are 100% not going to be saying that. And there's a really good situation that's going to be a he said scenario, okay? So don't assume that the evidence, however true it might be, is going to come out. Odds are you're going to have to aggressively argue for your fact pattern. Again, going back to your attorney comment. The second thing I want to comment on is the fact that in virtually every home invasion case that I've seen, both as a prosecutor as well as a defense attorney, there's multiple bad guys.
Yes.
Okay. It's obviously not 100% of the time, but it is darn near 100% of the time, at least from what I'm seeing. Okay. And I don't know what the official statistics are, if there are any.
Well, it's a dangerous thing to break into somebody's house.
It's a dangerous thing, right?
You don't want to. You're not brave enough to do it alone. You gotta have friends.
Well, you gotta have friends to carry things too. So, my point is okay. You see the one bad guy through like your windows. What about the other 1, 2, or 3, or maybe even 4 bad guys you're not seeing, right? Is somebody flanking you? Are there 2 or 3 people inside? What are they armed with? Do they already have your daughter or something like that? I mean, and I'm not suggesting that therefore you should do this or not do that. I'm just saying this is a much more complex fact pattern, taking into account real life practicalities of multiple home invaders, muddy fact patterns where the bad guys will never agree that they were pointing a gun at you. This can get very, very ugly very, very quickly. But bringing it right back to Castle Doctrine, I think in most states this is not going to be Castle Doctrine because you're not inside the home. If you're inside the home and somebody breaks in, and if you have Castle Doctrine, that seems pretty black and white. Okay, we've got Castle Doctrine, which again it's not a license to kill. If that person retreats when you present your firearm or something like that, you have to let them go. Okay. So it is 0% a license to kill here, but just this gets really messy really fast.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for the insight, Tom. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Kevin.
It's a true story of self-defense. We interviewed an armed Lyft driver who was carjacked to help answer these questions. Should I carry a gun while driving? And what does a carjacking actually look like? Just click the video next to me to watch this must-see interview.